Welcome to episode 4. Here we are with Adam, the one and only, and Kieran Osborne.
The one and only.
Episode 4. Let's go. I'm going first. Okay.
Oh, here we go.
No, it's all right. Religion, net good or net bad?
Good. I feel we've spoken about this before, but we haven't. Maybe we did. I don't know. But yeah, I actually think it's good because it's about belief. And I think for a lot of people, it gives them something to believe in and focus on. And a lot of it is positive.
Yeah, I feel like religion gets a bit of a bad rap because of extremists. But the thing is, if 0.01% of religious people are extreme, you've got 7 billion people in the world. And out of that 7 billion people, 0.01%, that's a fuck ton of people.
And I think regardless of religion, you're still going to have idiots.
Yeah, they'll find something else to tie themselves to.
Yeah, exactly. And it's it, like whether it's a culture or a cult or whatever, I think it will. I like the idea of religion because we've spoke before about that community. I think they're religious.
Muslims?
No. They've got them all over the world, and there's one you have to apply to go and visit.
Banderhof.
Yeah,
something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, and you go and visit, and I think that's quite nice. That net community. Bunderhof. Yeah. And it was really good, and I like that concept of belief.
Well, they're doing what I want to do, but they're a little bit more extreme. So in terms of I believe that there is true value to be brought from community, people living in small communities, but they have to take it the extra step and not use electric.
Yeah.
It's come on. Let's be reasonable.
But it goes back to that living a simple life.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah. Living a simple life, but electricity is pretty simple once you have it plugged in.
But is it required to live? No, it's not.
It's not required to live.
We've digressed quite considerably from religion.
Quickly. Let's do it.
But where is your line of simple? So yours is obviously with electric, but actually you could go simpler.
We could literally live out in that forest in a tent.
Yeah. We don't even need a tent.
No. So you need a reasonable level of comfort, but what is the reasonable level of expense to pay for that comfort? And I'm not talking money, but in terms of electric, there is no, other than the fucking cost of it at the moment, but there is no downside to it. It's a cable that goes to your house once, you plug it in, you can blend your food, you can heat your water, you can do all of this stuff.
Yeah, but this
is what winds me up, right? I saw something the other day. What's that Jewish holiday where they can't have electric in the for a certain amount of time or something?
I don't know.
Let's say Hanukkah. No, I don't know. It's one of these things. But basically, now they found little loopholes.
I think you've made that up. But
No. Definitely. What have I made up?
The Jewish people have a religious holiday where they're not allowed electric.
Promise you, it's a thing.
Right, okay.
Anyway, regardless, they found a loophole in it. So the Jewish people have found a loophole in this rule that says you're not allowed to use electric between certain hours or whatever it is. So I think the rule is you're not allowed to turn electric on. So what they do is they've designed these lamps that that basically the light is on all day, but then when it gets dark, they haven't got to turn the electric on. They just turn the shade around so that the light can come out into the room. Yeah. What a load of fucking bollocks.
That's just some TikTok video you've watched. That can't be true.
It was on a TikTok video, but I promise you it's true.
You need to stop using TikTok as your source of truth.
Education. No, but it's things like that just seem unreasonable. It's an unreasonable compromise.
I don't have anything to add.
No.
But I think I like the idea of religion in the belief. That's just all I have to add, really.
Yeah, so...
something to live towards.
Well, this is it, but providing you're living towards the right stuff. But also...
But what's right and what's...
Well, let's think about... I don't know anything about religion, so this is a great topic. But I'm going to guess the Bible was written 2,000 years ago, yeah? Mm-hmm. Roughly. 2,000 years ago.
Give or take a few thousand years.
Yeah. When is that going to become outdated when we go, oh, hold on, what they said in the Bible, that's a bit mean towards dogs or whatever it is?
Yeah, I don't think there is anything mean in there.
Is there not?
I don't believe so.
If you know of anything mean written in the Bible, comment below.
Yeah, but it's people's perception. This is where extremism comes from. It is people's perception of what's written.
So everyone can perceive it differently.
Yeah.
Do you think Joseph was gay with his multicoloured dream coat?
Well, this is it. It's perception. Like, and yet the Bible says that, or not the Bible says, but religion has previously said that homosexuality is not allowed, whereas actually the Bible also says about being kind to each other. So regardless,
It contradicts itself.
Yeah, because of
So you can't
perception.
prove it wrong.
Yeah,
You're like, you said homosexuals not allowed, but then be kind. It's like, yeah, we said be kind, so yeah, you're fine.
yeah.
It's like, you can't prove me wrong. Look at the contract, mate. The contract
the Bible
with God.
is not a contract.
Okay, so we think net religion is good.
Yeah, I think so.
What if you change the...
I like the idea of many religions as well.
Surely only one can be right.
No.
Well, no, not even right, but like, I think there's something like 5,000 religions out there. They can't all be right.
But this, I question whether any of them are right. But then I suppose that would make me an atheist. But I think that just the concept of it, I don't care whether they're true or not. Whether there's this guy called Jesus and Allah and all the different religions, I think that it just the idea of that is cool and is good, regardless of whether it's true or not.
Do you think people should have the right to draw from either the Bible, the Quran, or whatever it is, the bits that they want to draw, but ignore the bits that they want? So I don't know what religion it is, but I'm sure there's religions out there that say you can marry a 12-year-old girl, but also be kind to everyone. It's like, yeah, that bit's okay, but let's try and stick away from marrying the 12-year-old.
Yeah, and I would say that's probably what...
This is what I mean about net good and net bad.
I suppose that's probably what atheists do, is that they look at the positives and think, yeah, I want to do that.
But I think the atheists probably do that anyway, regardless of any scripture.
Well, yeah, but you've got to get your ideas from somewhere.
I don't think atheists get their ideas from the Bible.
No, but from just talking to people.
Yeah, but is that not down to our human instinct to be a good person? I think, atheism, I think it might be, their whole point is I make my own choices, I'm going to be a good person. I don't, the Bible is just a book. Quran is just a book.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think it's just our instinct to want to be good people anyway. And I feel like maybe if you get attached to a religion, I don't know, whichever one you choose, pick a name out of a hat, there's going to be downsides to that. And people get caught up in that whole religion, and then they can get caught onto the sticky stuff as well.
Yeah, I think everything we do in terms of what we perceive as good, we've learnt from somewhere. Okay, both of us have done pay it forward before.
What's that?
Where you've paid for someone else's something, like I'm pretty sure I've seen you do it, where you'll say, right, I'll pay for the person behind me's food.
Oh yeah, the McDonald's, yeah.
Yeah, and just stuff like that, or a coffee shop or whatever.
Yeah, still waiting for someone to buy me a McDonald's.
Yeah, I was going to say. But the idea of doing that, you haven't just thought one day, oh, bugger it, I'm going to pay for the person behind.
Yeah.
You've learned that from somewhere and thought, oh, that's a nice idea, let's do that. Do you not think we learn that from religion and history? And
I don't think it necessarily has to delve from religion.
No, but there's lots of religion, I suppose, as part of history. Mm-hmm. And we've learned that.
Yeah. Again, massively underqualified on this, aren't we? History, religion. Here we are talking about Muslims and 12-year-old girls.
No, you brought that up. Don't drag me in, mate.
Go on then.
If you could change one thing about yourself, what is it? I'm pretty sure I asked this earlier. Yeah. If you could change one thing about yourself, what is it?
Is that a question that I wrote?
Yeah.
Okay. Physically?
No, I would say, well, I suppose physically or both.
I would be less self-sacrificing. Don't look at me like that.
You're not self-sacrificing.
Yes, I am.
Fuck off.
Yes, I am. I give up a lot of myself.
Go on then. Okay, explain further. Go on and elaborate.
Well, you mentioned it a minute ago with the McDonald's.
What, you self-sacrificed a tenner? Well done, mate. Proud of you. Fucking hell.
How can I put it? I would much rather please other people than be pleased. I guess it is kind of selfish though, because I take pleasure from seeing other people happy.
I was going to say,
It's self-serving.
Yeah, I was going to say, without insulting you, do you not feel that you do that for yourself?
Yeah. Not consciously for myself. If I help someone out, McDonald's, money, financial, whatever it might be, it's not because I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to help this person out and that's going to make me the better person. That's going to make me feel better. I do it because I want to help the person. In a sense, I'm hoping for some good karma.
Right, okay. So you don't do it because of that dopamine hit of them saying, "Oh my God, Adam, you're so amazing, thank you."
No, I don't do it. When I buy people, because I don't know if you actually know this, with the McDonald's thing, buying the person behind, I actually do that pretty much every time I go to McDonald's, but I drive off very quickly. Yeah. And I find it awkward when someone comes and like, if I haven't got my food in time, they'll come and like knock on the window and like, "Oh, thank you so much." And I'm like, "Oh, quick, go."
Yeah. Okay, so what, you don't want to do that as much?
I want to
forget about the financial aspect. So
because being self-sacrificing in a way can land you in your own shit.
Why?
Well, it just does. Like, you become more susceptible to people taking advantage.
Why? Because they'll think that, right, I'm going to be friends with Adam because he's going to do this for me. He's going to do that for me.
Yeah. So yeah, self-sacrificing, I want to be less, still be giving and kind.
Yeah. So that's the financial aspect. What about just kind of doing things for others, like kind of acts of service?
Yeah.
So you want to do less of that as well?
No, I don't want to do less.
Or do you think you're more of a financial self-sacrifice?
Okay, let's put it this way. I want to be more aware of the downfalls of being self-sacrificing. So more aware of the risk.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Have you been bitten before on that then, do you think?
Yeah. Not necessarily financially. No one's ever like screwed me over. No, I'm just trying to think of an example where I've been too self-sacrificing. And I gave up a lot of my time with my previous business when I didn't have to be there because I thought I was helping everybody out. I could have given up on it a long time ago, but I was there because everyone else was there and they needed me to be there to do stuff. So yeah, I gave up probably 6 years of my life unnecessarily when I could have been in the position that I'm in now 6 or 7 years ago if I wasn't so self-sacrificing.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it was all bad, and I just felt that the net good of me being there would help more people in general, forgetting about my own personal sacrifices that I was making.
Yeah, but do you think that whilst you feel now, in hindsight, that you were self-sacrificing, do you feel that perhaps at the time you were adding value to yourself as well?
Yeah, because it's all growth.
Yeah.
It sounds cliche, but it's you earn or learn.
Yeah.
And sometimes you've got to go through them lessons of hardship. And again, it's cliche. I wouldn't be the man I am today if it wasn't for them really hard lessons that I had to learn. And I guess I learnt them because I stayed with that business and held on to it for as long as I could unnecessarily. But the lessons that I learnt during that somewhat traumatic period made me, what's the word? I don't want to sound like a wanker. As astute as I am today.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you had left earlier,
yeah,
then perhaps
there would be no hardship, and it would happen again and again and again.
Yeah.
So you need to go through failure, hardships to learn the lessons to set you up for the business that's actually going to work.
Cool.
I've forgotten the question.
If you could change, your personality.
Yeah.
If you could change one thing about yourself, what is it?
Yeah.
So now let's talk physical.
When I have my tooth put back in.
What, you want to put your tooth back in?
I'm not putting it back in. I'm going to actually employ a dentist.
Oh, I don't mind doing it for you.
I get the hammer and chisel.
So good teeth is something that's.
No, I'm not too vain. I mean, you can't have a body like this and be vain, really.
So a follow-on question, your appearance, even dress sense, everything, I would say has changed drastically in the last 5 years or 3 years.
Yeah, but I've always dressed like a wanker.
Yeah, I guess so. But what's driven you to do that? You can't say that you're not vain. Or
No,
there's an element of
I do change
vanity.
styles. In what sense? Like, what
Well,
have you
dye
seen?
your hair.
Yeah. Well, that all came about, 2 or 3 years ago when I was like, I kind of, well, funny enough, it tied in with the end of my last business, which was an utter failure. And I was like, I need to drag myself out of this and I want to be the best version of myself. And if you remember, I dropped, what was it, something like 35, 40 pounds, lost loads of weight, dyed my hair, started dressing a little bit more
Quirky.
Yeah, it's just that constant effort to want to be the best version of yourself.
And this is what you perceive as the best
This
person.
is where we are.
And this is what
where
you
we are.
This is what you perceive yourself as the best
Yeah,
version.
maybe not quite there yet.
Yeah. There's some work to be done. Go on then, mate.
Right. We've already done that one.
Oh, here we go. You've
Oh,
missed.
no.
Yeah, because of the podcast. Go on, you answered it.
Oh, okay. Right. Race war.
Yeah.
You can pick a side.
Oh, yeah.
So you've got basically white people, black people, yellow people, all different races. They say, right, Kieran, you can join us or you can stay with the whites. They're all put onto a football pitch, no weapons. Basically, the team that kills everybody else wins. Who are you picking?
And you're talking physical war.
Yeah, physical war. Yeah, not one of these fucking cyber wars.
No, not even
physical
so-
war.
no,
The
but-
Chinese would win that.
Yeah, but there is an aspect of, and I don't know if I'm looking into this too deeply, is there is an aspect of survival as well.
Yeah, this is what I mean.
But that's not a physical war.
You can stay with the whites. Yeah.
Oh my God, can you stop saying it like that?
What, whites?
It just sounds really derogatory.
Don't be politically correct here, Kieran. You're in the wrong place. No, whites. You can stick with the whites, yeah, and go and fight your battle with 100 of your team members. But chances are you would lose because white people are weak as shit, yeah. Or you got the black people going, come on, mate, come over here. We'll protect you, you know, you little weakling. You can pick that team, and then there's a full-on battle. I don't know how many races there are. Let's say there's 8, right? 800 people on the football pitch, swinging, kicking. Which team are you going to choose that's going to protect you the most?
So when you say whites, obviously so you're talking about a colour. So are we talking nationalities or not?
Colour only, because we've
So
discussed
therefore,
this.
I could be a Brit or an Australian because they're both white.
If it's fucking white, mate, it's white. It doesn't matter what part of the world you're from.
Right, okay. I actually don't think I would. Although
You wouldn't what?
stay as white.
Yeah, I fucking wouldn't.
Yeah.
We'd lose.
Because black people tend to be much bigger people,
Yeah.
stronger,
Yeah.
and just, survival of the fittest.
Yeah. Okay. So definitely not the Chinese.
No, I don't think so.
No, why?
Because just if you were to be completely stereotypical, you wouldn't perceive them as
Big.
big and strong. But actually, I wouldn't say no less than white people.
No, I would.
Right, okay.
I think in terms of like body mass, it probably goes dwarfs, Chinese, whites, black people.
Yeah, the only added thing that I would say is like, what about that? Say the Chinese, for example.
You're not going to say so stupid like they could outsmart us on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I wonder if they're, and again, this being really stereotypical, they're going over there like, I don't know, tinkering and creating computers and doing mass manufacturing, then selling it to everyone else, making loads of money or getting people on side, and suddenly like they win the war, but not through fighting.
Yeah, no, this is on a football pitch and everyone's naked as well.
Plus, I have no resource whatsoever.
The blacks can use their cocks.
Oh my God. You have to lower the tone.
Yeah.
You? Oh, you said black, yeah.
I think I'd choose black people, yeah. They'd protect me, wouldn't you?
Oh my God. Please, this does not make it to my business channels.
Okay, so you pick black, I pick black. We're both on the same side.
Let's move on.
Is this a question from...
Similar. Is there really a problem with cultural appropriation?
Perfectly acceptable question. No, I was thinking this the other day. Is there really a problem with cultural appropriation? So whether I'm misunderstanding that term, but as an example for cultural appropriation, it'd be like white Brits like to... We drink a lot of tea. Yeah, that's what's said about Brits, isn't it? Cultural appropriation.
Yeah.
Yeah? But there's lots of cultural appropriation out there, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing. It's kind of, we're taught on one hand, we need to accept other cultures, which is fine. I'm up for that. I'll accept cultures. But that is in itself insinuating that another culture has a different way of being and has traits about them dissimilar to ours. So what are we to fucking do? Are we supposed to...
Yeah, but I think you can take on those cultures if you believe in those cultures. So, for example... I don't know the reason why people wear turbans, for example, but it's the same as you decided tomorrow because you like quirky dress, going out tomorrow in a turban.
Right.
If you go out in a turban because you believe in the reasons why people wear turbans, then yes, you're quite capable of doing that. But if you're going out there using it as a fashion item, I don't think that's right, personally.
What about dressing up on Halloween as a Mexican?
I think that should be okay.
It should be okay.
Yeah.
I think it is okay.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Only in modern culture because people go and dress as Disney characters. Like, you're not... Like Halloween, for example, you don't just go and... If you're doing it to be a scary Mexican because you think Mexicans are scary, then yes, I think that's wrong. But just because it's fancy dress...
Mexicans aren't scary.
I was using that as an example because of Halloween, you dickhead.
But okay, would it be... Let's say one day I fancy dressing up as a cowboy.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah?
What, just normal day, it's Tuesday...
Chuck on my Stetsons. Yeah. I can go out dressed up as a cowboy and there'd be no questions asked. Other than Adam, why are you dressed as a cowboy? But like, in terms of cultural appropriation, me going out dressed as a cowboy would be fine. Yeah?
I don't know, are the Cowboys going to be upset?
Oh, fuck the Cowboys. Right. But what if I went out dressed as an Indian? There'd be questions asked. I don't get it. Why are people just wanting to be fucking offended? I might want to dress up like a fucking Indian one day. Cowboy, fine. Indian,
yeah, I think as long as you're not being disrespectful.
Yeah. Okay.
So like accentuating certain negative traits, maybe.
Okay. What about blacking up for films?
Blacking up. Again, I suppose if you are representing a black person, then it should be okay. However, why don't you just employ a black actor? Although you're not allowed to do that, I don't know.
What?
Employ a black actor because they're black. Are you allowed to do that?
Are you allowed to employ a black actor because they're black?
Yeah.
I would assume so. Why wouldn't you? I mean, they've all got boxes to tick these days, haven't
Yeah, well,
they?
that's what I'm thinking, but I don't know. But yeah, I think if there's, say, for example, you're representing history, it's a film about Martin Luther King, then I think it is quite okay to employ a black actor. I think it would be weird to, I don't know, Channing Tatum to be acting as Martin Luther King and then painting himself black. I think that's a bit strange, but I suppose it could be okay. I just don't think it's necessary.
Yeah.
Because there is enough good black actors out there. This is a good... So it's the same as whiting up, for example, a black person.
Yeah.
Putting makeup on to make themselves
you'd
white.
employ the right person for the role. Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes more sense if somebody's going to play Martin Luther King to employ a black person than it would be to employ a white person and black them up, basically.
Yeah, although look at the skills of... I suppose you've got to also look at the skills of the actor and all the other different things.
Yeah.
To...
Well, there was a comedy film. I think it's like 15 years old. I can't bloody remember the name of it. But basically, it's like a war film, but it's a comedy. But it's Robert Downey Jr., who is a white actor, basically full blackface, and it got quite a bit of backlash.
Yeah,
and it's like that's the comedy aspect of it. Is that, and he was putting on this strong black Louisiana accent,
right?
And it's like.
Yeah, I think the comedy, it's difficult because...
What was the black and white minstrels? Were they white people with blackface?
What?
Black and white minstrels.
I don't know what you're talking about.
They're a band.
No, never heard of them.
It's like a big thing. I'm sure they were white.
I think you've made this up.
No, I haven't. White people with full blackface performing in the way that they perceive black people would perform. But that was like, we're talking way back. We're talking like back in the, I'm gonna fucking, I don't know, ballpark, back in the 50s. So it's a different time. And it may have been more accepted to dress up as black people and take the piss, basically.
Yeah.
Whereas now we're in a different time. But I think everything comes down to context.
Yeah, like I say, as long as you're not accentuating it in a negative way and just being a dick, then I think it should be okay.
But this comes to cultural appropriation. If you're a white person dressing up as a black person for a film, covering your face with black makeup, you then have to act black. So you have to...
Yeah.
And it's not racist to say some black people talk different to white people and they've got accents and stuff like that. Like, that's all fine. So when you are an actor, a white actor, having to play a black person, you have to put on that voice and act that way. Is that cultural appropriation?
Well, I suppose it is, but it's just whether that's okay.
Okay.
I think I'm pretty impartial on it. But
what does impartial mean?
I don't really care.
Okay.
But I understand there are some people out there that are a bit uptight about it. And I just think I just being respectful of other people's views. So if you're going to create a movie or a sketch, and out of 1 million people, you're going to piss off 10 people, then I think crack on.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But if you're going to piss off 500,000 people, or half of the amount of people that you're delivering to, then is it worth it? Is there any point?
There's no bad publicity.
I don't know. My argument would be those 5 people, yes, it's annoying and upsetting, but actually maybe you could... I suppose it's when they sacrifice one person to have 1 million people survive. You've got to kind of sacrifice.
Oh, this is another interesting topic. We'll put it down as a question, or we can talk about it now.
Cool.
The sacrifice of the few to save the many.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah. So, for example, would you kill a child with a bullet in the head to save 100 adults?
Yes. 100 adults isn't that many. 1,000 maybe. Where's my price?
Yeah, exactly. No, this is it.
What's my price?
But it's not, what you're saying isn't not sensible. Like, it is a conundrum, would you kill one child to save 100 adults? I think most people would probably say yes, until they came to have to pull the trigger.
Yeah, then it would just be very difficult to do.
I feel like this is an argument that, people in the military have to deal with every day. What?
Yeah.
You went into a house and you had to shoot a kid? It's like, well, yeah, because, all the people in the background.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I do agree with the concept of it. But like you say, in that moment, would you be able to do it? But I think that's the difference. It's like, I don't know, you got one terrorist with a bullet to the 12-year-old, and then you've got 100 terrorists over here with a bullet to the 100 people. And the terrorists are saying, choose one. You will have to choose one. And I do think it would end up being the child. But do you think there is an argument to say, actually, that child will bring 100 more people into the world?
Depends what religion he is.
To account for the 100 that have died.
He'd be out there shagging, wouldn't he?
What value? No.
What are you trying to say?
Not in his generation. Of course he's not going to. But he's going to have, say, 3 children.
Yeah.
Those 3 children are going to have 3 children.
Yeah, but then you've got 100 people who've each got 3 or going to have 3 kids each.
No, but you said they're adults. So they've done their shagging.
Oh, have they?
Yeah.
I love this hypothetical situation.
So they've had their children.
They've done their shagging.
So they're not therefore going to bring more people into the world. But is it about, again, playing devil's advocate, is it about bringing more people into the world or more quality people into the world?
I like it. And the value of life. I mean, you could have this argument similar to the vegan argument, is that, is a cow's life worth more than a slug's life? Because there's the argument that to create vegan food, tofu, they have to plough fields and absolutely mulch up all of the moles and squirrels and everything that's living in that field. And obviously a lot of the purpose of people being vegan is that they feel like they're doing good for animals.
But it's where I think balance is really important. I don't think everyone should be vegan. I don't think everyone should be meat eaters. I think it's a nice balance of loads of different things, so then we don't destroy one aspect of the planet.
Yeah. Recycle your bottles so you can kill a cow.
Yes.
That's exactly what Kieran said.
That's the exact words I said. Please.
Who's go?
Yours, I think.
What defines what a man is?
Interesting that, because I'm very, well, you always talk about me being PC, but I'm very in touch with my feminine side, I suppose, and I'm not a fighter or anything like that. But I like to think that I'm chivalrous, respectful, and do all the things that a man should do. But 100%, I'm not going out there having a scrap because someone's called my girlfriend a dickhead.
Yeah.
I'm not having a scrap. I'm not having a scrap for that. I'm like, well, you're an idiot. Me and my girlfriend just go walking the other way. Whereas some men will be like, oh my God, you're not a man for sticking up for your partner and going to have a fight with that man. I personally don't think that's what makes a man a man.
Okay.
Whereas there's a lot of people, probably my dad, to be fair, when he was younger, certainly would have been that person that would have gone and had a scrap because that's what a man does to defend his wife.
Do you think there's anything wrong with chivalry?
No, not at all.
No. In terms of, men opening doors for women.
Yeah, I think that's okay.
Is it expected of a man? Should it be a given that a man will open a door for a woman rather than a woman have to open a door for a man?
I think it's nice.
Yeah, but should it be given? So what I mean is, from your opinion, should it be expected that you will open the door for your girlfriend rather than your girlfriend open the door for you?
No, I don't think it should be expected. And the moment it becomes expected, then I'm like, no.
Okay. No, I don't mean that your girlfriend is expecting you to open the door, but as a society looking on men should open doors for women.
Yeah, I just think it's a nice thing to do.
Yeah.
It's a nice part of history, I suppose, or tradition that we do that.
But it would be a nice if the women opened the door for us. But
I think there are women that do that.
Yeah, of course there is. There is some. I don't think there's a problem with chivalry. Open the doors for people. It comes down to just being a bit polite as well.
Yeah, I think it's just being respectful of each other.
Yeah.
What's your, because obviously you're not quite as like,
I think
going back to the masculinity point about it wasn't masculinity, it was more what makes a man a man. What's your views on that? Like in terms of me, like what I say about kind of
I
not
think
being that scrappy person.
No, we're on the same wavelength. I'm not a violent person. I would defend. I'd defend anyone really, right or wrong. If violence was needed, I'd give it, but only if it was inevitable.
Yeah. And also, okay, what about a lot of people say that a proper man, you see this a lot on social media actually, a proper man is one that has got mud on his hands and dirty hands because he's going out being a tradesman.
Yeah. Men are built different to women in terms of DNA, build, structure.
So do you think I'm less of a man because I'm an office boy rather than a labourer?
Yes.
Really?
No, I'm joking. No. You're
fine.
not less of a man for that because ultimately you are I don't know if I'm using the right term. You're a breadwinner. I don't mean that you provide the sole income for your household, but you provide a income for your household.
Yeah.
That's the means that you've chosen to do it. The majority of, let's say road workers are men because it's a hard, physical, laborious job.
Yeah.
And like I say, men are physically built different. They're built to do that.
Yeah.
Yes, there are a few female road workers. I get it.
Also, my partner is just as much a breadwinner as me before I'm in the doghouse. We are both breadwinners.
No, that's not what you say to me off air.
Well, actually, we'll see if she watches our podcast to see whether she comments on it.
Right, next.
Oh, actually, I saw this about, where did I see it? Oh, putting it in your terms and conditions. Put somewhere in your terms and conditions, for those that quote this clause, gets a free bottle of wine. So for anyone that quotes this comment, Adam will buy you a beer.
Yeah. Wait. It will come out of our advertising funds.
Which are currently
0. If you fancy sponsoring the podcast, hit me up. All right, go. Is it my turn?
No, it's me. I think. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes. I've only got 2.
Go on then.
Define success.
Oh, interesting. Success is a balance. Well, no, it's not even a balance. Success, so many people put the weight of success on money.
Yes.
When I believe you can be truly successful and truly poor and have nothing.
Say again?
I think you can be truly successful and truly poor at the same time. Success isn't about money.
As successful, rich and poor, and be successful. Rich or poor and be successful.
You can be rich, you can be poor, whatever, but you can still be successful.
Yeah.
Success is how you end your life.
Yeah. But I think everyone's level of what they class as success, like whether it's whatever your target is, it depends on what's the meaning of life. Like, what are you looking to achieve from life? That's what success is. And I think it's fairly shallow if you put a monetary value on that.
Yeah, well, it goes back to what we said about the other day about the 85-year-old on the phone doing business.
Yeah.
Like the 85-year-old millionaire on the phone doing business. It's cool. I get it. It might be trying to set up a legacy, but why don't you enjoy the success that you've got?
But perhaps that is success, that the fact that he's still able at 85 to be doing business deals. Maybe that is his success. He's like, oh my God, I'm so successful. I'm still able to do business at 85.
This is what we said. Is it sad that that is the state of affairs where he feels his value is in being able to do business at 85 years old?
But I think success, it should be different to every single person's level of success should be different. I don't think it should be, everyone should be the same.
What do you mean?
Well, like my success could be that I'm able to work for 6 months of the year and play for 6 months of the year. Mm-hmm. That could be my level of success.
Yeah.
Whereas yours could be, I don't want to work. And that's what that level of success is. Or actually, I want to be just happy in having nothing. That's my level of success. Like, you're happy now and you've got lots of things around you, but actually maybe your level of success is to be able to give all those things up and still be happy. Whereas mine could be, actually, no, just have 6 months off a year. That's my level of success.
Yeah.
So I think everyone should be different. Otherwise, I think the world would be boring.
Yeah. So it's amazing when you think about, the challenges that we go through every day of, where's the next pound coming from? Imagine if a doctor gave you a death sentence that you've got a week to live. Literally, you would not think one more time about money.
Yeah.
You wouldn't, would you? Yeah. You would think about family, friends, girlfriend, all of this. You would think about all of that and you wouldn't once give a consideration towards money. But that is potentially a truth. You might have a week to live. I'm not saying, you're not diagnosed with anything, but you might get hit by a bus tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we go through life constantly chasing this money. And it's like we said the other day about that deferred happiness syndrome where, I'll work now, everything will be better later on. But the next thing you wake up and you're 75 years old and, you've got a few years left.
Well, I've seen clients do exactly that, is that when they get that diagnosis or they get an elderly, they literally just leave everything in their house how it is, just walk out the door and go and do things with their family or their friends rather than focus on those bits and bobs in the house because they don't care. And then, like, when they die, they haven't even made a plan for those things because they don't care about them, and no one cares about them. Like, house clearance is the most barbaric thing ever. Like, I've experienced that personally myself. Like, my grandparents worked so hard to build all those things in, and we just ended up giving it to a bloke for 500 quid. Like, for it to be absolutely emptied because none of it's worth any value anymore because, yes, they may have spent fortunes on it years and years ago, but no one's interested in that kind of stuff anymore. Antiques aren't really a thing for a lot of people. And they spent all that money and we were never allowed to touch the side, and we've given it to some guy for a tenner. Like, so what's the point in doing all those things?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas they define that as successful because they had these lovely things, but actually just leave the house, don't care about all that stuff, and go and spend time with your friends and family.
That begs a good point. what's your thoughts on people building a legacy for the children or whoever who don't want it? We always seem to live in the shadow of our parents, or, you know, I feel like in society it's quite common for people to think about, oh, when's my inheritance coming?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've never once thought about inheritance. I've had this conversation with you. I don't care about inheritance. I never plan my life on inheritance.
No. But
you must get clients that do. Like, I don't know. Is it common in society where people think, oh, I've got my inheritance coming in a couple of years?
Yeah, I think people do think about that. But naturally, they of course want their parents or whoever it is to live a long and happy life. But I think there's a lot of people that think, actually, that's going to give me a break.
Yeah,
that's going to allow me to retire, for example.
Yeah,
or allow me to start that next hobby. So I do think people think about those things. I don't think it's necessarily people wait for it. I mean, there might be some people that really, really need to. But I think what's worse than that is there's a lot of people that say, right, I've got 3 properties and I've got 3 children and I'm going to give one of these properties to each of them. No, don't do that, in my opinion, because your child might not give a shit about property. Like, if I got left a property, I would sell it the absolute day I inherited it. Like, it would be on the market because
there'd be no sentimental value.
If it was a main residence and I don't know, grew up that property, yes, I'd think twice about it. But if it was just a buy to let and it was an investment that my parents were into, 100% day one I'd sell it, because I'm not interested in property development and stuff like that. So whereas, yeah, that might be their bag, it's not my bag. So if I did inherit it, yeah, it would be going on the market and I'd use that money for stuff I enjoy doing.
Like?
Well, probably chuck it into tech of some sort of building, some sort of tech platform, because that's what I enjoy
squandering your inheritance.
Yes. Absolutely smashing it to some developers overseas.
Yeah, it does beg the question, because I mean, I think when we drove around this area last time, and I said to you, I was like, how much of, like, really nice houses, by the way, how much of these really nice houses are passed down? It's generational wealth, basically. Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, you get the odd anomaly who, you know, young person makes a fuck ton of money in business, fame, or whatever it is, they buy a house, good for them, cool. But you drive past some places in the countryside and you're like, how do they get these places? It's generational wealth. And how important is it to educate people?
You don't know it's generational wealth.
No, you don't. But let's make the assumption that out of 1,000 houses, out of 1,000 £1 million plus houses, I'm going to say at least 950 of them generate. I reckon so. Well, you deal with it every day.
A lot. Some people will be high earners. Some people have got lucky, and some people are just business owners that have built from the ground up. But yes, there is also generational.
But as a proportion is what I mean.
I would say it's equal.
Really?
Yeah.
What? So out of 1,000 £1 million plus houses, 500 of them are self-made millionaires.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, what's most frustrating, and a fair play to them, I'm just jealous, is those, because I'm not jealous in their life, but just because I'm happy where I am. But in terms of just the money they've got, I suppose, just it makes life easier, doesn't it? But those that not only have been successful in their own right,
and then inherited.
Yeah, and then inherited. I'm like, what? Hang on, you're already doing well.
Yeah. Land on your feet.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think that's wrong, because I've had some clients say this as well. Okay, I've got 3 children and I'm going to give £100,000 to this person, just a little bit, say that's 10%, and then my other 2 children, I'm going to give 45% to each of them because they need more help than this person, because they've made they've got a really successful business that they've built from the ground up, so they don't need the money.
It's fair enough.
But is it fair enough?
Yeah. Well, what? Tell me then. What is in your view? What is the purpose of inheritance? Do you think inheritance is a good thing?
Well, I have to be very careful here, because obviously this is what I do for a living. I actually don't agree with inheritance.
Okay. Do you want to expand?
Well, I personally think that it should all go to some sort of committee to be redistributed.
Would save a lot of arguments.
Yeah, so we all get... But then the idea is hopefully create more of a community. It goes back to that, whatever that community was called, but just about helping each other. So therefore, no tax. No one pays any tax anymore because the redistribution of wealth helps that. Don't need to pay road tax or whatever. And if I want to, say in Dubai, I think it's Dubai, no, Qatar, you get given a 10-year or 25-year interest-free loan from the government to build your house. And I think you get given the land for free or something along those lines when you're 18. Don't pay for electric and gas.
So it's spawning equal opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. So everyone gets that opportunity for their land and to build their house.
Yeah. Whereas with inheritance, you might have a multimillionaire that dies and leaves his one kid who's never worked a day in his life.
Yeah.
15 million quid. He's going to go out and be an oxygen thief. And
yeah, it's about creating that equal opportunity. But at the same time, I understand inheritance, and that ideology would never change, because who's going to be in control of the redistribution of wealth? Because at the moment, obviously,
that'll be skewed. Someone will make off of that.
Exactly. So no one's going to trust the government to do it, for example. And then if let's say there was a board of trustees, no one's going to trust them because someone's going to be corrupted. And secondly, I get that parents work incredibly hard because they want to pass down to their children. So for them to work incredibly hard and that to be taken off them and not given directly to their children. Yeah. My caveat to that point is, help your children now.
Yep. Yeah, good point. So, are you going to live by your own words? If and when you have children, are you going to leave them nothing?
No, because everyone would need to be on a level playing field for me to commit to it.
Oh, you don't want to be alone.
Yeah. But what I will do, and well, I hope I will do if I don't change my mind, is that I would like to see them enjoy my wealth whilst I'm alive. So instead of having, if I get to that fortunate position where I've got, say, a couple of £100,000 in the bank, which would be lovely, don't just have it there sitting there collecting dust with my children struggling to start their first business or buy their first house. Give them a little bit of support, but only if they are trying to provide their own support.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know if I agree, because whether you're dead or alive, giving the money to the children is the same outcome.
Yeah, but you get the enjoyment of getting to see them enjoy it.
Okay.
So, for example, say my daughter wants to start a business, I don't know, selling widgets, then I'll get involved. I'll be an advisor, like a non-exec director.
But it goes back to what we said. Okay, you might be able to help her financially, your hypothetical child.
Yeah.
But they have to go through them hard lessons.
Yeah, exactly. So
don't help them with money.
No.
They have to go through that. They have to go through the failure. They have to go,
so not only will they get my wisdom, if I had wisdom, but then when they've gone through a little bit of fire, then give them a little bit. When they've gone through a little bit more fire, so it's...
Would you ever incentivize failure?
Yeah, definitely, because you learn from your failures.
So you would encourage it?
Well,
I mean, to a certain degree.
Yeah, I was going to say,
you can kind of see your child walking towards a bad situation in business. Do you step in, or do you think, no, this is going to be good for her to learn?
Well, no, I think you say,
She's going to get stung.
Yeah, let's do a SWOT analysis on it, and have you thought about the risks? And she might say, yeah, I thought about all the risks. These are the risks. Cool, crack on.
Okay.
Even though I'm thinking something different, as long as you thought about all the risks and you're willing to do that, then crack on.
So you're going to give your hypothetical daughter help while she's alive, but when you die, she gets nada.
Well, I don't know about that, but we'll see.
Leave it to me.
Oh, please. I might not have anything.
Would you die broke?
Yeah, definitely.
I think that would be one of the most important things. Spend it all. You can't take it to the grave.
Yeah, 100%. Like, not so much in my current job, but when I worked at the bank, I'd have people come in, like, we would talk about savings and interest rates and investments. Oh, what should we do? What should we do with our money? I'm like, go and spend it. No, what bond should we put it in? I was like, why? Why are you putting it in a bond? You're 80. Like, what does it matter? Go and give it to, or go and take your family on holiday. All of you go on holiday together and go and enjoy your time together. Don't put it in another bond so you can get an extra 1% interest.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Answered. Should we do one more?
Yeah, go on.
Who is it?
You, I think.
Oh, boring. Advice to anyone starting a business.
Is that me?
Yeah, I'm asking you. What's your advice to anyone starting a business?
Just do it.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to go through the fire.
Do you know, so many people say, oh, yeah, but I just need to think about my logo. Or, yeah, I need my colour scheme. Or what would be the name called? And stuff like, oh, no one cares. Just crack on. Just go and do it.
Yeah. I said to you yesterday when you were worried about the squiggle name on that sign.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, one squiggle consult, one's this. And I was like, okay, no one cares about your business name other than your mother.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
that is it.
Just crack on. Go and do it. And if in 6 months' time you've got to change your logo or change your business name or change the product that you're offering, just give it a go because you're going to learn whatever you do.
Well, the only thing people care about is your product, service, and price, really.
Yeah.
That's simply it.
I find that a lot of the things that when I've spoke to people, even myself, when starting things is around vanity. And it's not about what anyone else thinks because no one cares about those things. It's your vanity that's stopping you from starting that business.
Yeah, well, it's what's the old saying? It's like, oh, my logo isn't perfect. It's procrastination is perfection, masters quality control.
Yeah.
So it's almost like I'm not going to start it just yet because I'm not going to start this fantastic business idea yet because my logo isn't perfect.
Yeah.
It's like, get your priorities, jump straight in. I think that would be my advice to anyone would be to just jump into it because the lessons that you learn along the way will be more valuable than putting together the perfect business plan.
So why did we delay starting this podcast until we had...
It was getting you here.
Silly mics, big old camera, lights. We could have done it on an iPhone, mate.
Procrastination. No, it is all about perfection, though, with this.
Right, okay.
Yeah, otherwise we wouldn't have the millions of listeners that we've got.
But actually, this is a pure example why you should just crack on because you still got to build something anyway.
Exactly. Look at what we've learned in the past 4 podcasts. We've had one that didn't record. And then we were like, okay, well, we need to get some light settings. And all of these things that you learn, you only get to learn when you do it.
Yeah, when you start doing it. Exactly.
So just crack on and do it.
Definitely.
All
just do it.
All right, Nike.
Right, I'm off to work.
Bye then.
See you later.
Oh, they were boring questions this time.
I don't think they were. What, you should want to ask if I shit myself?